Good morning, everyone. I'm Alain Beauregard. I'm the Global Product Manager from Hitachi Vantara, and I will have the pleasure to present you Session 1G, what's new in Hitachi VSP 5000 series family. Please do not hesitate to ask me question if you've got any questions. So please step in or use the chat. At the moment, I'm sharing my screen, so I don't see the chat. So I will see the question after I'm stopping to share my screen. So sorry for apologies for that in advance. The agenda for today is regarding the 5000 series family and what's new in the 5000 series family. I will touch also with cyber resiliency solution, as nowadays it's a very important topics, and especially with NIS2 and DORA. And I will talk about some modernization initiatives and what we are doing at Hitachi Vantara to help customer. And I will talk about our partnerships and news around partnerships and what's going on here, and leave you for Q&A. And as I said, do not hesitate to stop me should there be any question. So the 5000 series family is our current generation, and it's taking advantage and or designed for NVMe, which allows massively parallel I/O capability. So we have designed this machine for very low latency, and we have much availability because we are 8 nines without GDPS, where standard machine from competition are 6 9 and 7 nines with GDPS. So we are 8 9 without GDPS, which is a perfect match with the Z16, which is 8 9 also. It's flash optimized with NVMe, and you can also have the SAS intermix capability. Characteristics of the 5000 series family: we have consistent very low service time because we our 4K block, we are up to 39 microsecond latency, which is lower than any of competition, and extremely high I/O capability because this machine is capable of up to 33 million IOPS. We've got some uniques in that machine. We are recording the internals of the machine and put those internals into what an SMF record that can be used later on, and we'll come back to that during the presentation. But basically, it gives you the opportunity to match what is seen from ZOS to what is seen in internals of our system. We've got, like everyone in that arena, open system and mainframe support, and we can scale out and scale up. So we can increase the number of processor, increase the number of nodes, and we also can virtualize other storage. So you've got a single pane of glass on a single management, on a single set of tools to manage the storage. We at Hitachi since 2005 are running qualification at IBM, so we are qualifying the two qualifications, are the basic qualification and GDPS qualification. The difference between the two of them is that basic qualification is basically qualification from IBM that we are compatible and we do answer correctly to the commands, and we do react correctly to any unattended response. So, for example, if there is an issue somewhere, or so we IBM does test all failovers and verifying that our storage does react correctly according to IBM specifications. So this is done in Poughkeepsie, and we also are since very long time, as already mentioned, we are running GDPS qualification. So we are verifying that we are within IBM standard, and there is a qualification letter for IBM Basic or GDPS qualification, which is issued and signed by Hitachi and IBM. The GDPS qualification also does include the flash copy testing from IBM, the IPS swap capabilities, and also the 3DC or later on 4DC. No downtime during upgrades and downgrades and reconfiguration since 1995 and the first Red Family 700. We are been the first one to introduce a non-disruptive upgrade, downgrade, and microcode change online without any downtime. So this machine does allow to have a data in place upgrade. So the customer who used to have a 5000 series, the 5500, for example, previous generation, have been capable, and we've got many of them, which has been upgraded, sorry, from 5500 to 5600 online without any interruption. So it can be done during workload, and it's very convenient for people, and it's very green because we can keep on using the backend disks, the SAS SSD disk, without any need for changing the disk. So it's also cheaper for customer to benefit from a new feature, which are brought by the 5600 without having to change all disk. Just the controllers are exchanging that configuration. We do have a 100 data availability guarantee, and we have the asynchronous replication, which has the lowest industry RPO, which allows to have to lose less data or having less data at risk than any of the other competitor asynchronous replication technology. And our asynchronous replication technology is not based on freezing the IOs to get a consistency point. So we are smooth, and we can our technology is also helped by physical journal. In the case through the network bandwidth being shrinked, it has allowed to keep on replicating with keeping the RPO as low as possible. Our upgrade path goes from 5200 to up to 5600 6 node, and there is it can be done online without any interruption of service. So you can start with 40 cores and up to 240 cores, 1 terabyte of cache up to 6 terabyte of cache, and the maximum capability is 192 ports. The cabinet can be up to 100 meters apart, and the backend can be self-encrypted, so either with the key management or integrated, or it can be a KMIPS integration, and since a very long time we do support these two possibilities. You can also back up the keys in the in a KMIP, but you also can have the keys generated on the KMIPs and kept on the KMIP. The encryption is at a disk or SSD level, so you've got one encryption key for each SSD. Our connectivity, we have delivered some time ago the 32 gig FICON, and the 32 gig FICON has been also delivered with FCES or ADIF, depending if you're talking about the software functionality or hardware functionality, but basically we do support encryption data in flight, which allows to encrypt the data on the FICON level between the Z series and the storage, and it's decrypted at the storage level, so it can protect your SAN. And even if you're encrypting your data at the host level, at the Z series level, it does allow to encrypt the commands, because when you encrypt the data at the host level, the commands are not encrypted. EDIF allows to encrypt the command, and so it does not give any indication about the frequently accessed data to non-friendly actors. Let's say it like this. In terms of replication, we do support Metro Mirror or True Copy, as we call it. Our asynchronous replication is called Universal Replicator, and so True Copy is PPFC compatible or Metro Mirror compatible. Universal Replicator is not compatible to IBM asynchronous replication. That is, it's a specific replication, and it's managed by BCM, which has several interfaces to manage it, and I'll come back to that during the flow of the presentation. We support various 3DC configuration, so we do support the synchronous and asynchronous configuration, so it can be cascaded, it can be multi-target, and it can be multi-target with delta resync. Delta resync is the equivalent of incremental resync, as IBM calls it. We do support MTMM, and our MTMM version does also include MTIR. So when you hyperswap from one storage to another, the resync is automatically triggered with by GDPS. So there is always a synchronous replication active when you are running MTMM and after an hyperswap. We also can have asynchronous to asynchronous, which also can include the incremental resync. And we've got 4DC, and we also are capable of running MTMM and asynchronous replication at the same time. Our software to manage the replication is called Business Continuity Manager. It's written by Hitachi and manage replication, so manage shadow image, which is the clone technology we do have inside the storage, or external replication, which is Metro Mirror or True Copy, as we call it, and Universal Replicator. This this technology or BCM allows to talk with the storage and allows to create crash consistent clone without the need to freeze the IOs, because we are using the timestamp in the prefix CCW, which allows to uh, suspend the IOs on the flight rather than freezing the IOs to make a consistency group and then release the IOs when the bitmaps are set up. We do. We are also allowing to suspend replication. So whatever replication we are talking about, so it can be Metro Mirror, can be our shadow image clone technology with read-write option. So we are allowing um, to read and write and resync the replication with just exchanging the bitmap, so only the delta is resync. It does manage HUR, as I mentioned. HUR does not react to IBM asynchronous replication commands, and it does monitor the pairs, and we so there is what we call BCM monitor, and BCM monitor allows to monitor the pairs. It does allow to take action if the pairs are not in the awaited status. So the monitoring is done online, and it does make some report, and eventually can log the RPO in the syslog, so you can monitor your RPO and have a proof that you were having the correct SLA, or you maintain your SLA all the time. We also have a flash copy, but BCM does not manage flash copy, as flash copy is a fully IBM solution. So we have some interaction with flash copy with BCM, but we don't manage flash copy from BCM. Flash copy needs to be managed with flash copy commands. Inside BCM, you've got an API, which is something new or something we may not have make a lot of publicity around it. So the APIs from BCM are ISPF panel. So there is you can call BCM under ISPF. You can code some regsex. So there is a regsex. You can create regsex scripts. So for example, we can manage in a 3 data center. We can manage a replication in using or automate replication with regsex, and in case of GDPS, you can automate the incremental resync from HUR if in the case there is an hyperswap. We also, as I said, use BCM monitor. So BCM monitor can monitor the pairs and take actions, or it can trigger what our shadow image at time split, for example. And this API is can be used for some, for example, an application, and it can manage a replication. It's a JSON like sorry, it's a REST API like call. So, but it's we are using the ZOSMF address space as a web server. So it's a REST API with a put request, and the command is passed inside the body of the put request. So we are passing the command through the body of the call. The response are all in JSON format, so it's very popular for programmers, so they can really find what they are looking for into the response. And we are planning to use this API in order to manage Hitachi replication using a GUI. So we've got several development in place, and we will give the GUI management to customers. With this, we also at Hitachi have a group of people, of mainframe people, who are developing around the Hitachi solution, which are built in Japan. But here it's our group, internal group, is also developing some tools like HMRA. So HMRA is monitoring the UR delta time, and it can also create an alert if the customer SLA is not met because the RPO does increase. So it can also alert customers that there are some issues with the network, for example, somehow. And it does also provide historical data for auditors if needed. It's a free tools which does come with the storage. There is another extension which is also brand new, which is HMAI. HMAI allows to visualize the SMF records that we are creating and storing into the SMF file, and it can pull up the SMF record and send it to a repository, and from this repository we can extract and graph data. So when you have HMAI, it comes with a pre-canned report, but you can also make your own or create your own report because we do use Grafana for reporting the data and graphing the data. Our storage does also connect to Linux One. So if you've got Linux One server, or if you've got Linux 4Z, we can connect this VSP 5000 series to the servers, and we are supporting fiber channels, so you can get some also some mid-range storage also if needed to Linux One or Z series or high-end storage. And with the Linux 4Z, we have qualified the use of GAD. GAD is our active solution. It's basically a clustering of the storage, and if for those who are dealing with open system, basically what the virtualization capability of that storage allows is that if you are doing an inquiry on the primary loon, and if you've got the same inquiry on the secondary loon, the response from the inquiry is exactly the same response. So the server does not see any difference between the primary loon or the secondary loon. So it's really active, and it does maintain the integrity of the data. So this GAD works for Linux 4Z and does gives a better protection and a better throughput and a better availability, and it can also be mixed, or you can add asynchronous replication to GAD, and it can work with a delta resync. So if you lose your primary, then it does automatically continue on the secondary site, and the replication does automatically switch from primary site to secondary site, so you don't have anything to be done. It does give a lot of flexibility and high availability, and gives you active-active. For the monitoring of the data, we've got off-center clear site, which basically gives you access to a single pane of glass and monitor everything. So you can click and drill down, and it also gives you the status of the warranty expiration, the maintenance contract, and also the service case, which has been open at Hitachi. So you can follow up your the status of the case that has been opened, and the update, and the number of them. Hitachi is very committed for many years to the green gas emission. So we are not only speaking of it, but we are acting, and we are giving data, as well as we are register with the authorities for carbon footprint, for example, declaration. And we do have customers who are measuring the carbon emission, and they found numbers which are extremely close to what we have published. So we are happy to publish numbers which are close to reality. So it's not like a car which is supposed to suck 5 liters for 100 kilometers, and then you suddenly use it and see that you're basically using much more than what was given. We are extremely committed, and we are going to shrink down this carbon green gas emission as the generation gas does change. So we will keep on this trend. We are Energy Star certified, and we are registering our product since 2008. So as I said, we are not kidding with green gas, and we are not hiding our data. Our cyber resiliency solution does also evolve, so we are making also some improvement in that area. For those who don't know our cyber resiliency solution, we of course it's like one kind of weight is a fully automated solution. So we are setting it up, and after that it does take images in a fully transparent way, as we don't need any freeze to take images, and these images are totally unknown from mainframe, from ZOS. This ASCAN 108, these images are immutable, so you cannot modify these images, or you cannot destroy it until the retention period is expired. You can have up to 1022 images per volume or group of volume. It's consistent, crash consistent images. We also accept to have ad hoc backup. So if you want to create your own backup, you can create your own backup. We also have customers who are basically triggering backups from the ZOS, and it's stored on the cyber resiliency solution. We have implemented for a while the dual acknowledgement. So any action that would imply a major change in the way the backups are taken, the retention period, or anything important in the backup cycle, for example, does need a second person to acknowledge the change. And this is set up at installation time and cannot be revoked. So you would need to reinstall everything. See if you would wish to remove the dual acknowledgement, which is not something I think people would do nowadays with a risk. The management can be given to a totally different team, so it's not necessarily the mainframe team, and we've got customers running this solution, which has given the management of the cyber resiliency solution to a totally different team than the mainframe team. It's a true gap because the Fortress can be is first of all an open system storage, and it can also be in a different location than the main storage. So the Fortress can be up to 100 kilometers fibers away from the main primary storage. It does not rely on the primary storage, so the Fortress can be shared between more than a single storage, and you can restore the data on a different storage than the main storage. In Europe, not sure it's so important than in the US, but we have some case where the FBI does not allow to restore the data on the primary storage because the primary storage is considered by, in case of attack, is considered by FBI as a crime scene. So you're not allowed to restore your data on your primary storage. So with that solution, the data can be restored on a different storage than the initial primary storage for the data. The Fortress by itself can also be encrypted with data at rest encryption if it's not already encrypted, and it gives you another layer of security. As I said, the Fortress can be shared than more than a single main storage, and you can mount verification volume on a different storage to check the data or to restore the data or whatever. And you are able to do on-demand backup as already mentioned. This has been engineered with zero trust architecture, so everything has been developed with zero trust architecture in mind. So I'm not gonna go through that foil into detail, but basically this foil does explain that there is a control at every level, and you can have any confidence with the solution. In technically, what happened is there is a snapshot of the primary storage or the production data, which is done on what we call virtual volumes, because they are not taking any space in the production storage. And instead of the snapshot to be stored into a production storage, the snapshot is stored into the Fortress in an open system format, and the mainframe volumes are aggregated into large open system loons. And from these large open system loons, we are making either what we call scene image, or either redirect on write images, which we call scene image advanced. So on the Fortress with the scene image advanced, the data is compressed if compressible. So if the data is not already compressed, or the data is not encrypted, which prevents to compress the data again. The data is always written in a new cell, and there is a new space, sorry, and there is a management or a logical structure file, which is a log structure file, which is basically managing the pointer. So with CineImage Advanced, you can benefit from compression, data compression, if it's possible, and we have seen a very good data compression ratio at customer, and it allows to basically take image quickly, because it's instantaneous to take an image because it's a log structure file, and it's very fast to mount an image also. So once the data is in Fortress, you can also mount the data, and the data can be mounted to, for example, in that case, to a different storage. And on the storage, the data is basically inside the Fortress and seen from from one storage, for example, a different one in that case, or a different LPAR, and the updates are made on the Fortress and not on the local storage, which is accessing the data. So you can make your verification, and you can validate that the data is correct and there is no issue with your data. So as I said, nowadays the new installation are done in CineImage Advanced with the redirect on write, and it has benefit for from compression and dedupe. The backup scheduling is granular, and as you saw in the previous foil, there is a management server, which is usually a cluster, and that we can put on a different network, so you can totally isolate the solution, but you can also have this server. It can be running on the cluster or under VMware, for example, if you are looking for a solution like this, which also introduce some concern. So we need to check with you on the way you install it under VMware, because it can give us concern regarding security, as network is somehow shared in that case. When an image is taken, the image is stored into the Fortress, and we can return, if wanted, this is not mandatory, a message in the syslog when the image is captured. So if you decide to enable this feature, we can give you a message in the syslog regarding the correct ending of the image in the Fortress. When the process and everything is transparent to ZOS, so ZOS doesn't see any other message, and this message or it doesn't know or it's not aware of the image which are taken into the fortress. So this is why we added this message. We are also working for the new sysprog generation or new developer generation. So BCM can be installed using ZOSMF workflows, and it's also can use ZOSMF templates that we have developed for automation of replication. If you want to run ZOSMF template, we can provide you with SMF templates and which are customized for your installation if needed. At application layer, as I already mentioned, we are having a web API, as I already mentioned, that can be used for taking images. We are talking with some partners to get advantage of this web API. I'll keep you posted when there is some news around this kind of integration. And for automation, we are our GPSC group is currently working on Ansible template, so you will be able to run Ansible template for our storage. In terms of cloud strategy, we are vendor agnostic, so we are not following the path when with TCT, which brings you into the need to have the same vendor from one side to the other. So we are either using write to object storage for ZOS 3.1, which where we can have our object storage, and we are working with BMC AMI or Rocket software or Luminex for TCT strategy and replace DEP and VTL with WORM and write to object storage in all cases. This is the case of BMC AMI Cloud. So we've got several installation and several customer running that configuration with either a cloud or either our object storage. We've got some integration with Broadcom, so CA or No Vantage is as integration with our storage, so you can run the Vantage with Hitachi storage and get the data. And the documentation has been updated, and there is some PTF which have been given by Vantage Vantage team in order to support our storage and to get best of bread for that integration. In terms of monitoring, as I mentioned to you before, we are working with IronStream, so from precisely for our MAR record. So I told you before was that we are writing SMF record. IronStream allows to take the SMF record as soon as they are created, and they are put into at disposal of tools like Splunk, or ServiceNow, SCOM, and so on. And all this record can be merged and can give you a single pane of glass where you get every single alert in real time, and you can analyze and see from the ZOS part and from the internal of our storage at the same time. So this is available, and this is a cool feature for customer, as customer nowadays wants to have a single view of mainframe open from a single tool. And this does increase the value of our storage for customer, because they can detect quickly what is going wrong if it's on the uh, for, if it's on the storage side, on the system side, and so on. So this is really cool feature. HMAI, as I mentioned earlier on, it can give you the possibility to. So it's our storage centric. So it's not merging the record with anything else, but it gives you the visualization of our MAR record, so you can see the MAR record, and it can also give you the extract the record and put it in an Excel format if you want to get this record and have a look and merge with something else. Till we are working with partner, and we've got new partners, so I'm gonna go a little bit around this. So as I said, we are working with Broadcom, and Broadcom has been a partner for a long time for switch and directors, and we have strengthened our partnership with the CA Vantage integration. So we have really tight integration now available from Vantage. We are also working with our partner Cisco for switch and director in mainframe environment for a long time also. In terms of migration, we are working with 21CS, 21st century software, sorry, which has a product looking very closely like a TDMF, which is called the MMZ, that we are using for migration. And for those who are not aware, 21st Century is an IBM partner. They are maintaining VSE and developing VSE, which is not developed or maintained anymore from IBM. And they are developing and maintaining TDMF for IBM. So EMMZ is a derivative from that agreement, but it's only for migration, and you cannot buy the product. We've got a new partnership. We have a partnership with Data Kinetics, and Data Kinetics is it does allow you to get data directly from storage. So for DB2 or for VSAM, you can get data directly from storage instead of fetching the data from disk, because it's the fastest way of getting the data, and it has spare some MIPS because you don't need to get the data from the storage. It does allow to gain benefits versus Z hyperlink, for example, because experience of people who have introduced Z hyperlink is that there is no free meal, and because it's a synchronous fetch of the data, there are some MIPS which are burned while they waiting for the data, and usually if you're not using subcapacity processor, you see an increase in the CPU consumption. We also have agreements from VTLs and cloud. We are working with BMC AMI Cloud. We are working with Luminex. We are working with Rocket Software, and we are working with Secure Agent. So each one has its own benefit, and each one has its own technical advantage. For the MAR record, we are working. We used to work with IntelliMagic, which has been purchased by IBM. So we are integrated with IBM IntelliMagic solution. We are working with EPS for Pivotor, as I mentioned precisely, is a cool solution to get the record to Splunk or equivalent. And our records are also available and described into SAS MXG, so customer can benefit of it. In terms of cybersecurity, we are working with Mentegrity, and so Mentegrity has integration with our cyber resiliency solution, and it can combat, it can detect malicious attacks and or malware into your production. It can also help with the regulation to auditors. It can also detect in malicious encryption within first second of encryption and stop the address space that does the encryption and allows to you to take an action. It can also work with to check if somebody is trying to upgrade his RACF authority. So there are some examples, and I'm not gonna go through each of them today, but there are some examples of attack case which can be detected with FIM+. The most apparently, according to the analyst, the highest risk in the mainframe nowadays seems to be exfiltration of data and storing the data in cloud, waiting for quantum processors to hack the encryption case to see the data when available. So we are extremely likely to announce some more, make some more announcement in the cyber resiliency and security later on this year. That's all I wanted to present today. I don't know if there is any question. So I will go stop sharing my screen. Please fill the feedback form from this session. If you please, it will. If you do it, it will help everyone to see if there is some interest of running this type of session. And let me check if there is something in the chat. I need to stop sharing, so I do apologize for that. Let me check the chat if there is anything in the chat. So yeah, there is apparently nothing in the chat from what I can see. Please, if you've got any question, please let me know. Otherwise, I thank you very much for attending this session, and I hope you did enjoy this session, and talk to you later on or see you soon. And thank you very much for your attendance. Have a great day and enjoy the share Europe session today and tomorrow too. Take care. Bye bye for now.